Good evening, everybody. It's David Schlotthauer here in the home weather office. I decided I'm kind of bored. There's not much to do. So we are going to do something a little different in the live stream tonight. We're actually going to look over our 0Z model runs after all of the explosion of weird things that have been floating around on social media in regards to our 18Z GFS model run. All right, I will say, you don't even want to see. I mean, I don't even want to show it to you guys in tonight's live stream just because, oh my gosh, people are doing some crazy stuff with it. And so, as we get that in right now, the 0Z GFS is already beginning to render. Okay. And so we're going to keep you updated as we get that information in. But I wanted to show you something that's going to make this potentially a very busy period coming up. And it's what is known as the MJO. So as we just fast forward through this, and look at tropical tidbits. Actually, let's back it up. There we go. I think that's well said. It's, you can see it really well. So, long story short, I've done a lot of talking today, so my voice is actually a little on the tired side. I only got a couple of hours of sleep last night because of all these models coming in. And so what we have potentially coming is a really, really favorable period. It does appear to be by the middle of August. That's kind of when we expect that to happen. And what we have here is a very, very favorable Madden-Julian oscillation. That is really ideal here. It's over the Indian Ocean. It's over Central Africa as well as the maritime continent in about 10 days. And some of you are like, okay, if it's over there, how is it going to actually make the Atlantic favorable if there's all this sinking motion in orange and red? So that's what I was telling my friend last night, Nate, which he will be here to talk a little bit about the merchandise when we get into that. But this is going to be a very favorable potential period setting up, and the year GFS has been quite consistent at showing all this rising motion over the Indian Ocean, over Africa for a while now. We go back to the 06Z run, it has also been very consistent. Look at all of this upward motion, and if we go and look at tonight's 18Z run, it is pretty darn consistent. Now, this does not mean we are going to see because oh my gosh, what you're gonna probably see on social media tonight, including myself, is someone on X said instead of a African wave train, it's an African tropical storm train. I'm like, oh my gosh, people, like, yeah, that's where it's how crazy it's been. All right, and I enjoyed calling people out for this. I'm being honest, and I hate doing it, but it's like, come on. It's 384 hours out, and you're going to really believe these little two eyeballs that are going to look right at you in center screen. All right, so that's what we're watching right there. Very favorable MJO, and it's not surprising to see that in our phase diagram right here. Let's go to that. So as we look here, it's pretty much going to be in phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Well, barely phase 2 or phase 3. I mean, it's barely out of the unit of circle versus our GFS model run. I can kind of see why the GFS is going a little nerdy, wordy on its formation outbreak of cyclones, because of the MJO is like all the way into phase 3 over here, which get to that in a second. So despite all of that, actually, let's actually look at the former GFS. All right, and saving this really just for live stream purposes. This is not actually what's going to happen. So please trust me, folks, because I know what I'm doing here. So there's been a lot of this. And actually, someone made fun of the GFS saying it's Squidward with its nose right here and its two eyes looking right at you. It looks like a little face right here. Just making some crazy stuff. And I will tell you what right now, when you see this, all right, when you see this, this isn't going to happen. There is no way whatsoever this is actually going to happen. There's a 0.0000000 billions of zeros and a 1%. I mean, it's just not going to happen. In fact, if this did happen, I will be like, nah, this is not happening. There's no way we have two of these on satellite. Okay. What we're looking for here is signals. Okay. This is what we're watching. All right. So the GFS is going to do some crazy stuff. And funny enough, or not funny enough, but realistically enough, I showed my friend this last night. Let's go right over to, okay. Yeah, that's what I was wanting, full screen, so I can zoom in. I don't have this optimized very well on my Stream Deck. So models are going to freak out. Okay. Models are going to freak out because this is over Africa. Okay. So we have convection, we have upward motion in the atmosphere. That's why these models are like, oh, wow, I think the convection is going to last all the way until it moves off of Africa and it's going to persist itself. When in reality, we're already starting to see that shift, and we're going to wait to see if that is indeed continuing in tonight's 0Z model runs. If we start to see things shift in a different direction, then the whole hype cast, then the whole concerning aspect so basically, man, I got my head wrapped around, yeah, looking at my friend's Nate's chat over here. Hey, Nate. So we're going to have to keep an eye on how models handle this, okay? Because there's a bias to all of this, I believe. The GFS is like thinking that this is going to persist as it moves off of Africa. It's going to stay around, and this is what's getting a lot of people's freak out attention that, oh my goodness, the GFS is in La La Land, and it is in La La Land. Now, the artificial intelligence, that's another day. That's another story to talk about another day, but I'll tell you, I am, because I'm almost at 50,000 subscribers, and after with the whole ordeal, I'm not going to bring up the person's name, happened just a few days ago, I am now kind of turning it down a gear. I'm basically like, all right, we're going to have to keep it civil here because of all of this. There's other people out there, I'm sure, are just going crazy and like, oh my goodness, it's showing this and that. So I am right now, this is what we're seeing right now. There's your tropical wave. It is still here. Wow, I'm using black on this one. So it's still over here in Central Africa. It's got a little bit to go before we can actually say realistically if the GFS, Euro, and all these global models are actually on to something, or are they just kind of faking it? We shall see. That's why the NHC is not so confident yet about the about what's going to be developing. There are signals out there, but we will have to wait and see what this wave over here does. There's more activity developing over here in Ethiopia. It's going to be moving this way and off of Africa, and expect these false alarm signals back and forth, because they take one bit of convection and they mess around with it. It's like, oh, here's some convection. I want to just have some fun with it and make a forecast based on that little convection, which it really causes a lot of mishap with like crazy spin ups. And so we're going to watch the GFS. Okay. That's the first model that we are going to be staring down at. And then we'll be looking at our Canadian model, which both of them are coming in. Well, Canadian has not started rendering. The icon is completely out. So we'll move that there. So let's see what this one shows. So this shows right here that some consolidation might be possible right over here somewhere. This is definitely an open wave trough because you can see the flow right here. But man, is that sharp right there. That's the second wave that's coming off of Africa, and then maybe more behind that. But of course, this is one model. This is the German model. We have to shall wait for our most best models of all time, and that's going to be the European model and the artificial intelligence and the GFS model. Well, I shouldn't say the best possible model is the artificial intelligence. I mean, I don't trust that model very much. I really don't. It's 2 years old. It's an AI art. It's just, you can't just trust AI all the time. You really can't. Even so, it's called pattern recognition based. No. All right. No. And it's not a high resolution model either. So it may not pick up on some other stuff like these higher end models are, like the GFS and especially the Euro. So that's what we're going to be watching for right now. But you all are probably wondering about, actually, we'll get to this in a little bit. Got some extra appetizers while we wait here. But I wanted to show you all some very warm, some concerns that I have in the Gulf, as well as over here in the Bahamas. All right. And this is coming from some experts, some meteorologists that I do follow, that I do trust very well. And some of you out there are like, oh, which meteorologist, you know? So Andy Hazelton, you know, I support this guy. He's just amazing. He really is. And go follow him. Go follow him on X because he knows his stuff. He really does. So big round of applause and shout out does go to Andy Hazelton and Nate over here. That's silent behind the scenes, watching over our chat as well as my channel. Great job. So when we take a look at this, you know, and someone talking about this really kind of raises your eyebrows and be like, and is like, wow, these sea surface temperatures are very, very warm. All right. And so right now we are pretty much only about 1/10 of a degree-ish, 2/10 of a degree away from the all-time high in the Virginia Key sea surface temperature detection system right near Miami, Florida. All right, not far to the north of that. And you might think, like, why are we using sea surface temperature or like water temperatures right along the coast? These are shelf waters. These are going to cool very quickly, because it gives us an idea how warm it actually is out there in the Atlantic, right off the coast of Florida, in the Bahamas, in the Gulf. And right now, sea surface temperatures over the last couple of days, yeah, they have been quite toasty. Bathtub warm, hot tub warm, 93 degrees with an overnight low of sea surface temperatures recently around 90 degrees. Right now, they're kind of coming up a little bit, but they're pretty much hanging steady at this time in the low 90s, right around 91 degrees. But when you average things out, all right, so there's what we call an average. So when we average the low and high out, you get something that looks kind of like that. All right. So our sea surface temperatures overall have warmed up in the last few days off of the coast of Florida in Virginia Key. Right now, about 91.8 degrees in Fahrenheit. That's about almost 92 or at 92 degrees in Fahrenheit. And that doesn't, you might think a little bit that, oh, that's not very warm at all. That's like, or that's not very hot, but that's a lot of heat energy being expelled into the atmosphere, a lot of this latent heat, all this moisture, potential energy out there for these storms. And where we're at now, we are up there. We literally are with the record high. And this is about as warm as those sea surface temperatures pretty much get. They might get a little bit warmer, though. I wouldn't be surprised if we keep things going very warm, even all the way into, say, late August and early September. But wow, I mean, we're talking almost mid 90s in sea surface temperatures right there off the coast of Florida, those shelf waters. Okay. Our record low, you know, is way down here, but wow, we're just, you know, it's warm. It's ridiculous. So going back, so that's one post, and he says here, looks like we have set water temperature records the last 2 days at Virginia Key, several days in a row. Today and yesterday were only 0.2 degrees off the all-time sea surface temperature record for the station. And it looks like just recent, ridiculously warm shelf water off the coast right now, Florida. So that's basically what he's saying. Looks like based on the records, Brian McNulty Mountains today, Virginia Key water temperature established a new daily record of 92.1. Previous was 91.6. So yeah, it's getting pretty concerning out there with all this heat. And that leads us into, well, actually, sorry, I'm not very organized tonight at all, just because, well, this wasn't planned well, and we were really here for the 0Z model runs, but adding some appetizers and some food on the side with scientific backup data on what, you know, on sea surface temperatures, on other things that get involved with this. So I decided to clear things up because there are some, I don't like calling out people, and I'm going to be very anonymous here. There are people out there on social media. We know how social media can be a float house of mis or true information. And so I wanted to really clear things up here. And I even taught Nate this last night, huh, Nate? And you really, like, when you figured it out, you were like, yo, David, you really know your crap here. Great job. So I wanted to show you a diagram, what the MJO is, because you do see this and this too many times. So I wanted to show you the phases and what that means for the Atlantic in a velocity potential anomaly perspective as well. So as we play this through here, this is pretty much, we get this right. Yes, we are in phase 1 right now. So as we play this, oh, let's let it go all the way around. Hold on. I should have not clicked on it again. So right there. So basically, this is the phase that we're in right now in our MJO. And take note, you will see this. The velocity potential anomaly is all green and there's rising motion. And you're like, why is the Atlantic not active? Like, come on, there's rising motion. When you look at maps like this, like on maybe on tropical tidbits, you will see maps like that show all of this rising motion. Let's actually go to it right here. You'll see all this green and you'll be like, but there's rising motion. Like, should we get tropical cyclone genesis? Like, what's the deal? Why are we not seeing anything? Well, we had Dexter, so we can kind of check that off the list that we had Dexter. And this is similar with what we are showing you here. So let's go back and look at this, because this is playing a very key role on why we're not seeing any development, and it really matches. So, and this is very accurate because Dexter formed right here where we have neutral anomalies of tropical development overall during this phase of the MJO. And these blue anomalies right here are below average track densities in this kind of phase. So you can kind of say that all of this pretty much out here is deemed unfavorable in the deep tropics. However, There's this area over here that's a little bit typically favorable, and you wouldn't believe what we have to be thinking about tonight. We have a little bit of a tropical wave over there towards the southeastern Caribbean that might get people, that should be getting people's attention here. Okay, so there is a little bit of above average chances here overall during a phase one of the MJO. Okay, but things are delayed here because just because you have all this rising motion does not mean you will see favorability. There's other modes of variability that get involved. And so when we get into phase two, that's when things get clicking. And look at this. Where are we going to see the potential of tropical development overall? Okay, outside of little mischief going on out here in the Atlantic, and we have Dexter doing this, where are we going to see the potential for the best chances of tropical development out there in the Atlantic? If you guessed the Caribbean, the Gulf, the Western Atlantic, you are indeed correct because of where our MJO is. So all these red anomalies here indicate higher than normal track densities where tropical cyclones can originate and form under this type of phase. So going forward here into phase three, even so, our rising motion is not over Africa. And some of you might be like, but David, there's sinking motion coming in, so that's going to suppress development. No, again, this is delayed because if you imagining this, see here, see if you can see this just as well as I can. So you get your winds that come out of India. So they spread out like this because you have all this upward motion and you actually get easterly flow aloft like this. And I told my friend Nate, and it took him a while to realize that, oh, okay, I see how it works now. So then you get your sinking motion over here in the Eastern Pacific. So you actually reduced your wind shear, your vertical westerly wind shear during the phase three process. And that is why all of our neighbors over here got to get watching for tropical cyclone genesis potentially down the line as this goes into phase three. And we actually have surprise development off the coast of Africa. Not very densely packed, but yes, there is definitely a heightened risk there in the phase three. Now in phase four, sometimes just depending on the state of the atmosphere, this can go two ways. But typically it favors here and it really favors the Gulf and out here in the southwestern Atlantic during the phase four. So essentially phase one, phase two, three, and four are really ideal for the Atlantic. Despite what? All of this sinking motion in the velocity potential anomaly. Okay, so you can think right here, easterly flow because air is spreading out away from the green area and it's coming inward aloft and it sinks. All right, you can't physically see the air sinking, but the air dries out, things are unfavorable, you get more deeply air vertical wind shear. That usually happens, and then that's when we get into phase five. Whatever's left out here is generally somewhat favorable, but by phase six, it's just no. It's just like, no, there's not going to be tropical development at all. Look at these blue colors here, all below average. Even so, we have rising motion and the cycle repeats itself because when you have sinking motion over Africa, over India, and rising motion over the Eastern Pacific, you actually increase westerly vertical wind shear. You get more tuts, you get more cutoff lows that retrograde, anticyclonic wave breaking, you get drier air from higher latitudes, and that's going to trim down any formation chances out there in the Atlantic. So that is why we go through active phases and quiet phases, especially this time of the year when it's August. We traditionally see a uptick in activity, and this year I think we're going to see a little bit ahead of schedule because of where the MJO is actually going. And so right now, this is where we're at. And it really matches. If you look at the GFS right now, you can ask yourself that, man, that does match as close as it can, not perfectly, but We got the sinking motion pretty much over the Pacific, rising here. And if you look at the GFS here, look what we see. Sinking over here, rising over here. It makes logical sense. Doesn't it now? Doesn't it? But it's the question of whether or not how amplified will this signal be. If it's more amplified as what the GFS shows here, then we run into problems. Versus if the Euro is more kind of right in here with its whole MJO forecast, then there's a mixed, complicated, competing signal that happens, okay? But there's other factors. You get convective coupled Kelvin waves. You get Rossby wave activity that also helps to augment things. So without further ado, let's actually look at our latest GFS and let's answer some questions here. What's up? Unreceive. How are you doing? So let's see what the latest GFS is showing. Looks like, wow, look at our disturbance here, though. In the Caribbean, it still thinks there is going to be a disturbance here. This is what we really got to watch, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but this really has popped up rather quickly. Actually, you know what? Let's go to, yeah, so let's go to here. Go to tropical tidbits because actually I can use the vorticity plot a little bit better on, actually, you know what? No, I'm going to just use this and just use their vorticity plot. Why not? Let's go to here. Let's go to low level winds. Low level winds. Let's go to vorticity right there. No, wait. There we go. So let's play this through. There is your vorticity plot right here in the southeastern Caribbean. And does that actually develop? Let's see. It does try to wrap all the way in. It is a little bit more stronger, though, than the last run. So again, this is the wave. This is kind of the stealth, like, what would you call it? Like a stealth camouflage wave that people are really not talking about. I would not be surprised if the NHC has a little highlighted area down there in the next day or so because of that wave that does try to percolate. And if we look at previous runs, it actually is a little bit more defined. So if we look at last night's 060 run and today's run, you can see there is definitely a little bit of a lobe here of spin overall with this wave envelope, and this is going to try to wrap all the way around. As you know, the Caribbean is a graveyard for any of these storms, so that's why I'm a little skeptical, but it has trended recently here on the GFS, and that is a really sharp trough. You can really see it right here. Northeasterly flow here, southeasterly flow in here. So that is a wave that I am not going to ignore for many reasons. And people are like, David, you're focusing on every little wave out there. Well, of course I am, because that's an area of disturbed weather that could be impacting someone. So that's what we'll be watching. This has 35-mile-an-hour winds, so this is definitely a sharp pocket that moves through the Caribbean. And I hate being the bearer of bad news, and I don't want to jump to conclusions here, but this is one of those waves that brings back memories to where Ian formed. If you all remember Ian back in September of 2022, it originated over here in this part of the Caribbean, and you all know what happened with Ian. It really intensified in its last day over the southeastern Gulf of Mexico. Not saying we will see an Ian-like situation, but there's vibes of that because of where this is going to be developing potentially. And there has been some strong indicators with our stealth wave on the European ensemble that it's been trending in that favor for development. We will, and that's why I'm here tonight, to see if we continue to see those trends upward on that wave. Do we see 15 members of the ensemble picking that wave up, or does it downtrend? That's the thing we will have to wait and find out very patiently. Actually, probably not tonight because it's going to be really late when the ensembles come out. Probably not until those ensembles won't be out until about 11:30 or even midnight. So that is going to be awfully late. But if needed, I will post that on my YouTube post page and also on X. If you guys don't follow me on X, please do so. I've been really active over there. Oh my gosh. Yesterday, I think I did like 5 or 6 posts a day. Today, I did like 7 or 8 posts a day. I lived on X today. All right. And that's because I was wondering what people would be thinking about those hypothetical, weird looking model runs, right? From the GFS. And I'm sitting over here and be like, there's no way that's happening. So there's our wave. Let's see about our next wave out here. So the problem with this is a very large and elongated trough. You got enhanced easterly trade or northeasterly flow here. And then you get this wind that backs up like this. All right. This is part of your ITCZ that is draped all the way up in here. What is known as the West African monsoon trough, or monsoon trough for short. And under this type of an environment, when we get when we are transitioning into a more active MJO, what ends up happening, we tend to get genesis along this boundary, and it's a matter of, will we have enough background easterly wind support to actually scuffle this and try to concentrate vorticity as it moves off and heads into the Caribbean, or simply kind of does that. Some solutions are already begging the cause that this could be an out to sea storm, but I'm not making that judgment just yet, since this, I mean, come on, we're just discovering this today. Really, it's coming in. Let's wait for the GFS to see what it shows. It does not look as significant. Yeah, it's nothing. It's not even like it was in the 18Z or 0Z model runs. Yeah, look at this. It is not even showing anything significant. So that is a good thing, because that tells us that that scenario on the 12Z and the 18Z is not to be believed. It is not to be believed at all. I mean, how would you guys react if there were 2 major hurricanes on either side of Florida? I mean, we would just be looking at each other and be like, man, good thing this is not hitting my area, because it would have been a big problem. And so we will see what other models show. But the GFS right now off to a good start here at showing no TC genesis, which is a given right here, because if we look back at the previous run, this is what I always like to do. Okay. Small scale futures. All right. And it really came from right over here is where the vorticity tried to spin up in this model run. Now we play this through, or look at our current run. That's even a little different. So that really, really changes things. Small scale changes lead to bigger changes in the long run. And what we have here now is nothing. I mean, there is nothing out there that looks promising on this GFS model. That doesn't mean we won't see development, or we will see development, man, if I can get my words straight, but it means there is a lot of uncertainty. And it's a great reminder, we don't cherry pick certain model runs. So let's wait to see. This is only 5 days in, actually getting into day 6, slowly but surely. But it does look like, if we go to the central Atlantic. All right, so here's a wind match right here at the same time. So this could help augment vorticity and cause a little low-level spin up. But of course, this is one model that's currently rendering. Yeah, see, it's very different. Yeah, look how different this run is. Oh, man. Do you see this, Nate? Like, it's like, oh, uh-oh, Spaghetti-O, I'm not seeing a trough, or I'm not seeing a low anymore. It's like GFS finally realizes that it's in the wrong, and actually maybe you all making fun of the GFS today probably told the GFS, stop it, stop this. But there looks to be an area of interest that forms right here instead. That's interesting because this is where we have our belt of strong easterly winds coming like this, and we have southwesterly flow. So this is what we call a slip flow confluence zone. So it's going to be interesting. Does something form right here, right along that ITCZ? We should see a wave or a West African monsoon intertropical convergence zone breakdown by the early part of next week. And it's very tricky for models to even see what part of these will concentrate. But I'm a little more interested in what may actually end up panning out over here. We'll see what the Euro shows. But man, that is a strong tropical wave moving through the Central Caribbean. And that was kind of last minute pop-up. It really was. That is really worth watching. Okay, let's see what we got. Yeah, looks like it is trying to intertwine itself right here. So we're seeing the vortex. So you can see how this flow comes out like this. It kind of just shoots out away from the trough. So there's no really confluence here really much. We go forward though, it tries to wrap. See how it's trying to wrap all the way like that? That is where I think what the latest GFS shows, where a consolidation could end up panning out. And that would really make a difference between timing of this wave, if this goes further west or if it forms later back in here. All off the image, you can't see it. But yes, all of these models are rendering right now. You're seeing this in real time. You're seeing it as I am seeing it. And this is the moment. Do people hype it up on X again? Do they do the same? Well, actually, most of them are probably asleep, but they'll come up in the morning, they'll wake up and be like, oh, our 0Z is still on to something like a major hurricane. Was Ivan a Southern Rider? Something like that. So how's everybody doing tonight? Yeah, little pop-up stream. I was like, I felt lonely, so I was like, man, I want to talk to you guys. I want to interact while actually covering the tropics. That's great. I'm glad you're doing very terrible, David. Why? What's going on? Why are some of you not doing good today? Probably because of the hot weather, huh? It's too hot there in Florida. Yep, there it goes. It's gonna go. It's gonna go. It's gonna converge. Wow, this little guy over here wants to be a little spicy on us tonight. Yeah, it's actually closed. It's actually a closed low. That is a tropical storm over there on the GFS. That one that's not going to bother anybody, the fish storm. That's pretty much what we've been seeing, which is great news. Let's see if we can keep it that way this hurricane season, but I know wishing doesn't go very far sometimes. Where would this system go in the Caribbean? I am not making any judgments. The system has not formed yet. There is still a lot of wiggle woggle moving around. But if you are referring to the system out here in the one in the southeastern Caribbean, that's going to pretty much, that's going to die away on the GFS. So it briefly develops and it kind of curves around like that. I don't know. Maybe the NHC won't highlight that area, but I wouldn't be surprised equally so if they do. But this would probably bring some rain, some gusty winds for sure to Jamaica on that sneaky wave. I'm going to call it a sneaky stealth camouflage wave. And that would impact Jamaica perhaps by early next week. And that's kind of what it seems like. It is interesting, though, that the GFS is very different on this model run. It is not really showing much in the way of development with that. Probably, again, due to some wind shear and due to the fast motion with it. Things don't go very well in the Caribbean. I'm telling you, it's kind of it's a graveyard for any systems. All right, looks like our system is attempting. It is attempting right here. Nice, good max of easterly and northeasterly flow onto the northern side. We don't have a closed low yet, but it is trying itself to get its act together. From the previous run, definitely a weaker one, but this is much further west, way further to the west than the other one. Because the other run here showed it mysteriously bouncing, like boom, it hits something and it just goes that way. So this would be in striking distance on the GFS, and this is just around the day 7 time frame. Around the day 7 time frame, so we will have to watch that. This little guy over here off the side of the screen, that's a hurricane. That would be a hurricane actually on this run of the GFS. It is going all over with it though. This is actually a very, very intense model run to say the least. Yeah, look at it. It wants it now to 75 knots. That is pretty dang crazy. We will see, though, what happens, though. Looks like we might have another little guy trying to spin up over here within the monsoonal trough. Be very, very... We got to really watch a lot of this out here, though, in the Atlantic. Yeah, there is an Invest 96L. Actually, you know what? I'm very curious how strong 96L is going to get on our fan affair of hurricane models. I'm really curious. I bet you all are curious, right? So let's actually look at it. Yeah. Nothing on that little poor guy. Yeah. So, there's nothing on this. There's nothing on these hurricane models. They actually, they don't show any development. Like the dawn of time came and just wiped the systems clean. But you know what? I can actually care less about this little guy. Okay, I really don't care about 96L anymore because it's literally going to be out there in the middle of the ocean. Although, a lot of people will be like, man, we could actually sit back and like watch the thing from a distance, you know, but not so much for our fishies and our marine life out there. Won't have a good time at all. But then again, this right here, this looks like it is attempting. We have southwesterly flow here, and the flow does this. So it is really close on the GFS. No threat, no storm. Good night. All right. The fish is going to have a party. Yeah. Well, they're going to have a party in the sky if this thing actually ends up being strong enough, which, man, look at what it does. Man, the GFS is like all excited about that system. It literally took the energy away from our Hypecaster wave over here and gave it over to our 96L that is way up on the top left side of the screen. And that is a 93 knot hurricane. That is a 93 knot hurricane in a little over 7 days. Do I believe it? No, I don't. I don't believe it at all. It's still too far out because, again, we're in the formative stage. But yeah, there's a little bit of a signal. There's a little bit of a signal on that. We're really going to have to watch, though, what goes on right here, though, with our wave headed towards these islands. Does it try to wrap itself in, or does it ignore? And the GFS is drunk. Yeah, don't you think? That's a 94 knot system, and it's not moving very fast. I mean, look how slow that thing moves. Like I said, we'll be breathing the sigh of, ah, wow. And that a beautiful hurricane out there in the middle of the Atlantic. Because look at it, it even has an eye on it. Like, usually if it has an eye, it's like very close to major hurricane intensity. So that is one monster. Do you see that actually, Nate? Look how strong this thing is.
Yeah, David, I see it, and I just wanted to say hey to everybody. That's definitely showing a little bit stronger than what it was yesterday, for sure.
Oh, looks like our good old Canadian model is rendering. Let's see what that shows. Let's see. Man, it's a lot more aggressive with confluence right over here. Some confluence. Excuse me, confluence activity. And that is some pretty good westerly flow with easterly flow right here. So this is definitely a strong wave that the Euro or the Canadian is picking up on. Okay. So wind field expands, keeps its same strength. And maybe this is not going to close up. It doesn't look like it at all. Which again, I want to advertise. The GFS is drunk. I'll tell you that right now. You can't trust any model or trust the GFS at all at this time. Because look at the last run. It was like going ballistic on that system. And now this whole, it's like a different model. It's like literally 8 days away. But we will watch that, definitely. Because that is a biggie. That's a little biggie system. Sometimes you gotta just watch and see how models, how models evolve, you know? By the way, while we're waiting for that, I wanted to show you this quick post, and we'll get back to our models. That 2025, so this is the average MDR sea surface temperatures, okay? And this is what the sea surface temperatures generally favor. And this is from Dr. Philip Klocksbog, really good guy. one of the best or the best out there when it comes to hurricane forecasting. Well, the NHC comes first, or NOAA comes first, then it comes Philip Kloxbog. You have to always give extra credit to our NOAA friends over there. So this right here is where we're at in sea surface temperatures as of 2025. This was 2024. All right, we could all agree that that could have favored hyperactive activity in the Atlantic. However, we're not far. We are not far at all when it comes to sea surface temperatures in the Atlantic. In fact, this red line is very close to the blue line, meaning this is likely to favor an above average to hyperactive hurricane season when it comes to ACE, not number of named storms. I don't want you to get all confused about that. We could have very few storms, probably like, say, 15 named storms, and still have a very high ACE score. Anything above 160 ACE is considered hyperactive. When it comes to the accumulated cyclone energy, quality beats quantity is what we're looking at here. And so we are definitely above where the below average, what sea surface temperatures would favor for below average hurricane seasons, or just simply average. So we are definitely not looking at a below average hurricane season, but my speculation still, half of me says, I'm a little on edge. We'll wait until mid-August, and if we do get this big burst of activity, then I will kind of revise my numbers. Right now, Dr. Philip Kloxbog still expects 16 named storms. That includes Andrea, Barry, Chantel, and Dexter. We have had 4 named storms so far. And let's see here. The ACE west of 60 degrees is projected to be 87. All right. The normal is 73. Accumulated cyclone energy is 140. So very close to a hyperactive season. Okay. Because again, it's 160 for that. That is well above the average here of 123 ACE points on a given average hurricane season. So we're there, 60 named storms, 8 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. And I mean, that doesn't seem like a whole lot, like 3 major hurricanes. That doesn't seem a whole lot of major hurricanes. But what about if 2 of them hit the United States, or they're not out to sea storms? Then you can kind of think that, oh, wow, 3 was a lot. It's all about impacts, okay? It's not about like, oh, 3 major hurricanes. That's not that bad. Well, it is bad if they hit a very populated area. So you have to really think about that, okay? So it's all about ACE, all about impacts, not about the number of named storms, because I still believe people have their head wrapped around that. Like, it's all about this. It's all about that. It's not. It really isn't. Okay. It's all about ACE score, accumulated cyclone energy. And there's a post, if I can find it right here. Rush, actually, or someone made it. Let's see. Let me go over to my bookmarks. You can find it here, right here. So you can see that even 11 named storms made the season ranked number 4. Okay, 2024 is not even on here. All right. So you have to think that, 11 named storms, well, it equated to 229.6 ACE points. So round that up to 230. All right. And then you got 12 named storms up here. Only 1 extra named storm. Okay. Look at your ACE score. So just because we don't get 28 named storms doesn't mean that, okay, if we don't get 28 named storms and we only see 15 or 17 named storms, man, it looks like the season's barely going to be above average. That's an understatement. That is absolutely an understatement. I even told my friend Nate about this. It's all about the ACE score. It's not about, oh, let's see how many named storms we can get this season. All right, I got some unfortunate news. Looks like we got some. Wow, I can't even believe the GFS would actually have the guts and at picking that up in the first place. That is a very strong, very, very, very strong compact circulation right there. It is definitely not a closed circulation by any means, because if it was closed, you get southwesterly and westerly flow here, which tells me this is moving quite fast. This is not moving very slow at all, where it has a hard time closing off its circulation. Yeah, 1995 was pretty insane. That's when I was born, believe it or not. So the year that I was born, there was an insane hurricane season. Actually, I was born in the fall, not summer. So I was born at the tail end of the hurricane season. What's up, Matthew? How are you doing? So, yeah, we're watching this. Oh, this is... Dude, Nate, I can't even believe what I'm seeing here on the GFS. Like, what is the GFS even doing? And then this is about 10 days out. Look at this.
I'm looking at it, David. I have no idea. It's almost like they're wanting to hold on to that one system that was showing up on the fantasy GFS run when there was two hurricanes next to Florida, which, by the way, that was never going to physically ever happen. And I can see in the chat that a lot of people saw that, and a lot of people are worried in the chat about where it's going to make landfall, and it's just simply too far out to tell. And we have no idea how strong this wave is going to be, or how powerful of a storm it could create down the road. We have no idea, but it is certainly impressive that the GFS is already showing that.
And I will tell you what, right now, yeah, 2 of these were Cat 4 and Cat 5 hurricanes, and you can literally make an angry looking face right here with Cuba. There's the nose. Actually, that's kind of a weird looking nose and the 2 eyes. Like, I just drew a face. I mean, look at the eyebrows. It's like, I'm angry. It's so weird what models can do. They can really like make faces at you and be like, I'm messing around, you know that, right? It's like, yeah, I'll tell you, actually, I'm actually gonna save that. I'm just gonna save it. Wow, I'm just stuttering right now like crazy. I cannot ignore just how weird and fantasy that actually is. So I'm actually going to save that. Just for like hilarious purposes. Because yeah, I mean, it's like playing or like commentating at a baseball game. Like, man, the system was timed too late, or it didn't form when it was supposed to. So we got this, you know, players on the field, and that's what we're seeing. Like someone making the rendering the model or giving the instructions to do so, and then it's up to the model to resolve those. So let's go to the northwestern Atlantic. Where are we at? Oh, there it is. There's the northwestern Atlantic. Yeah, look at this beast. That's a 107-mile-an-hour hurricane right there. That's very close of a major hurricane, and that's a big-time circulation. Which, in theory, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and you guys will probably yell at me, but I hate to say this, that, you know, just because it's drifting up north like this, if timing up here is wrong and you get a big old fat ridge up here, this thing could get yanked. Remember Florence? Remember Sandy, right? They got yanked this way. So, I mean, chances are very low that this actually gets even close to the United States, but it's something to really watch, because if you see a big system like this, then you gotta kind of raise your eyebrows like, man, what if it goes this way? And that's why we look at steering flow patterns. And there is not much steering to move this thing along. There's like a lot of kind of subtle ridging. In fact, it looks like there's a trough that comes down, so that should easily yank the thing out to the north and to the northeast. What's up? Just Vienna, how are you doing? Which, by the way, for those that are just tuning in, if I do go over the top in some of my thumbnails, and I wanted to, that's why I also wanted to live stream tonight to clarify, like, and I want you guys to really be transparent, open, and honest with me about my thumbnails, because if they are a little too much, because I've gotten someone that actually came through very honest about my thumbnails and saying, I could actually read it to you while we're waiting. Actually took a picture of this because I took down the post because, you know, I'm that nice of a person. And this came from Hey Chickens. All right. I want to start out by saying that I love your channel, David. It is the best out there. David, you have and nothing about your actual video. Your video was not fear-mongering. I listened to the entire video despite the clickbaity thumbnail. However, I have noticed that for whatever reason, quite a few people out there were very sensitive to bright colors, pinks, purples, and reds out on the map. In their mind, they associate these colors with severe danger, extreme danger, and they even consider it fear-mongering when someone uses those colors on a map, unless the threat level is sky high. Maybe experiment using different colors and see if you get less hate without getting less views due to boring colors. So I will be honest, okay? I do use bright colors, but that's the style. That's the root. It's the foundation, all right? I can try backing off on my thumbnails a lot, but that's why I kind of want you guys to speak up about that. Like, what should I use? Just a satellite image, highlighting areas similar to other YouTubers out there, because I do want to be very, very careful. I really do. I'm not doing this on purpose.
Hey, David, just to let you know, the next rendering of the GFS came in.
Yeah, the 0Z. I'm looking at it right now.
No, you know, what I was saying is like the next hours came out for it. My bad.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, no, the next GFS did not just start rendering the 06Z run. No, I'd be like a double-edged sword right there. So, man, this system. Can you show 2027 hypothetical hurricane season? No, absolutely not. No, no, no. David, it's just one person doing that. Well, you know, it's a, you gotta think. I gotta think of my audience, not just that one person. Because if people if a couple of people out there are having issues with it and it causes problems in the long run, then it can get a little deeper than just that. And so that's why I have Nate over here to actually help me. Hey, I could actually use him for that, like, to help me with my thumbnails for once. So yeah, here is the latest GFS, and man, that is very, very tiny. That's a 72-mile-an-hour tropical storm 10 days out. Now, because I'm live streaming this, because we're analyzing the model run, we will go all the way out in time unless it gets too much. Like, we see a lot of wildness out there. And then we'll look at our other models. Actually, let's look at our Canadian model, because that came all the way in. Interesting. It wants a system to form here. At the same time, it wants a system here. So it's kind of like 1 then to 2 after the wave comes off. So it does this, and there's another one that just kind of does that. This is a really complicated situation. Still a complicated situation. Oh my gosh, if I can get my words straight. All right, so we are going into the Caribbean now. Man, that is tiny, and one could even think, how can the model even see that? Like, how can it even exist? Literally, like, it's crazy. Okay, so the first system out in the Atlantic is gonna go to the north. That's the one that we're watching. That's the highlighted area from the National Hurricane Center. And then the second one is going to depend on how much of a ridge is out here. Okay, we have a ridge here. The system's going north. We have another ridge right here. That's why the system's not really going to move fast. There's not enough steering up here to yank that out. And so it's going to really depend on what ridge is here and how far of a southerly rider this wave actually is. If it's able to come off a little further south, it might be able to move towards the west into the Caribbean, versus if it comes off a little to the north, it might be able to, well, not that, my mouse slipped. So it might be able to go and gain latitude and miss the islands and maybe be another fish storm. That's the high level of uncertainty that we're seeing with our models. With the latest GFS right now, it's a mess. It really is a mess. And I'm not really putting much weight into this because this is pretty dang far out. I mean, this is 270 while we have our weakening system up here, which I find really interesting, but it's because the waters up there are going to be cooler. It's going to run into a wall of cooler sea surface temperatures. Yeah, I hope it doesn't touch us, which would be the eastern seaboard. Me too. I hope this stays out to sea. And that's why we watch these things. Just because they're out to sea doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. Remember Hurricane Henri? Remember that thing was over here meandering, and then it kind of came down, and then it just kind of did that. You know, it did like a little funny loop, and it kind of came out like that. So that's why, even so these are out to sea and it looks like it's going to go north. Well, we got to really watch what goes on up here to the north. If there's a trough that comes down, right, you get lower pressure, right, in the upper parts, that will help to yank that system out. But if you get a ridge on top of this little bad boy, this system is going to get kind of caught underneath, and it could drift towards the coast or go straight and move slowly, or just kind of fizzle out here. So that's the thing we really need to watch with this system. Just because it's an OTS doesn't mean it could be an OTS up here in Canada. We have people, remember, we have you that may live up here. And if it hits right here, it's not a fish storm anymore. Okay. People think that just, when it goes out, like it turns north, doesn't mean things are going to cooperate like that, you know? So the last but not least couple of runs we will wait for is the European model. We have another 30 minutes, 30 dang full minutes before that starts rendering. And then we'll get our artificial intelligence model will be out here very soon, actually. I think that's the one that comes out before the actual Euro comes out. So we'll be looking at that one. But, and I just closed out a window. Fun. So long story short, out to sea storm, most likely going to be an out to sea storm. I'm not too concerned about it right now, just because the GFS has this miraculously ridiculous major, or what, not major hurricane, but a strong tropical cyclone. Doesn't mean it's going to be there. Please, please. This is one of a La La Land model, because we're now in that range where we are seeing that. Every model actually has a different scenario. Like, look at this. This is just ridiculous. So take that with a grain of salt. This is 282 hours out. While we're watching this little guy down here in the Caribbean. And quite frankly, that was on the last run too. Look at that. So the last few runs of the GFS, well, not that 12Z run. So it's only been on the last couple of runs. It shows something going into the Caribbean. What part of the Caribbean? I don't even know. I'm not even going to say what part of the Caribbean, because there's a lot of uncertainty. But all I wish is to get things straightened out here with the models. Like, all of this garbage, things being uncertain, things are just, I mean, it's so disappointing to not have any consistency, really. It's just, you know, and I hate making videos projecting something that, and that, like, actually that tailors us into, while we're waiting for the models, into my thumbnails. It's like, I feel so bad. I feel so bad that I'm making thumbnails like this, watching the deep tropics, or this is concerning, you know? And then last minute, these models back off. It's like, oh gosh, are you serious? I made a video and you're backing off on me. So, which is good, but it makes me look bad, because it's like, I'm giving you guys information and it looks like something's going to develop, and then it actually doesn't develop, you know, which is good. We don't want tropical storms. We don't want hurricanes. I understand that. But on a forecaster standpoint, you're getting this out to 100,000 people or 75,000 people. Yes, I've had a crap ton of views on my recent videos, and I'm shaking my head. It's like, oh man, people are going to think that I just was a liar and everything. I hate models. I really do. Why can't they get things straight? That's all I have to ask you guys. It's so annoying. Yeah, it's better to be prepared, but it's also not good to kind of just give false information. You know, it's just, I want to be honest. I want to be conservative over here. I want to be, you know, the person that people rely on me for, you know? But it is really tough. It really is. With this pattern that we're entering, we're seeing a lot of noise. A lot of noise. There's a tropical storm in the Gulf at 2:14 hours. Oh, shoot. What? I did not even see that. Okay. That's new. Yeah, wow. That is new. Dang, that really trended. That really has trended on this 0Z model run. I did not even realize that. I skipped over that like it doesn't even exist. I'm not putting a lot of fame and prediction in that though, but it does come off of, it does develop from that sneaky wave over here in the Caribbean. So it's a question is, do we get something forming over here off that stealthy, sneaky wave? If it does form, how strong will it be? If it's really strong, where will it go? So there's a lot of, we don't know about this little sneaky wave, but what we do know is there is some support from the ensembles. Wow, good catch on that, Ryan. I do appreciate that. Man, GFS is just happy. Well, I shouldn't say happy in a horrible way, but it's just like, I'll spin up anything, whatever. Whatever. It doesn't matter where it's at. I'll just spin it up. That is one little baby over here moving right over the northern Cayman Islands in 300 hours. I do not put a lot. I'm not putting any cent into this. All right. We are out in fantasy land. We are fantasy land. But the last couple of runs, that'll make it clear, the 18Z run and now the 0Z run does have something over here in the Caribbean. So that is something, that second wave coming off of Africa needs to be watched, regardless what other deterministic models do with that second wave. Okay, so we are going to see if our APHIS model is out. Nope, not yet. It should be out here very soon. Give it another 15 minutes. I think we will have that data in. And again, this is the only time I go really far out into the model world during live streams, but during my videos, I am keeping it 8 days max. Which, by the way, how do you guys like that? Would you rather me just look at a model forecast out to 8 days or 192 hours, or would you rather me go out to 10 days instead? Please let me know in the chat. Because again, got to balance it out. Things beyond 8 days or 9 days it's la la land. 365 days? No. There's no such thing as a model going 365 days out. Actually, a climate model does, but 10 days if models are consistent. Yeah, the trouble is what's up, Vipe King? I think we have a big YouTuber in the a VIP. Nate in the chat said, "Slop me up." What's up, Viper? How are you doing? So people say, so 8 days, 10 days. Yeah, once consistency builds, I think 10 days is asking a little much. Focus on ensembles and synoptic patterns. All right, that's probably what I'll end up focusing more on, is ensemble forecasts. Because I'll tell you right now, I can name a lot of YouTubers that are literally going out to the full scope of 384 hours. And ever since that whole ordeal with another YouTuber a few days ago, I am like, I'm not hiding into a corner, but I'm like, gotta tone it down over here. Because that YouTuber has a lot more than I do in subs. How are you doing? I'm doing very good, Viper King. Thank you for asking. And also, folks, I want to thank you all for getting me to 49,000 subscribers tonight. We are at 49,015 subscribers right now. We are less than 1,000 from 50K. So we are so dang close to the halfway point. Semi-big milestone here on the channel. And that's also why I'm looking into changing my strategy with thumbnails, the titling. That's why I'm going to have you help me, Nate, with all of this now when it comes to titling. All right. Yes. Nate, you there?
I'm here, David.
All right. I saw what you just said there. Before we get to that though, Nick Smith, someone's laughing at Weatherman Plus. I'll tell you, I like. I don't want to really mention another YouTuber, but that guy has some very funny commentary. I won't say what it is, but because I don't want to get, get more call outs. But yeah. He will say, I'll say a couple: High Ridge, Cool Front, in this direction, moving in this direction, So yeah, I think it's a good time to do some promotion of our merchandise, right, Nate? Let's hand it off to the advertiser over here. So as you know, we have
Well, David, we got some brand new merch added to the store. We upgraded the merchandise, and we have a lot of options now. Just going over some, we have just t-shirts, sweatshirts, coffee mug, mouse pad, all right here, and it's your own exclusive David Schlotthauer merchandise.
Yep.
Multiple colors available. You can get pretty much anything in any color that I thought looked good when I started designing all of this, and I hope, and I already see people in the comments. You have merch? Question mark. Yes, we have merch now. So if you guys were interested, we actually do have a sale running right now, a discount. If you use code DAVIDS, you get 15% off your whole entire order.
Yes. I might have to buy myself a mug and kind of just drink coffee every day while I'm making my videos, because looks really good. You can get it in a different color, a dark gray look. And then of course you can get mouse pad, and it will say you might also like this. So you can get a different mouse pad. This is what it looks like. It's really cool stuff. And I gotta say a big thank you to Nate that made this possible with the merchandise. Without him, me and him, it would have been hard for me to do it, but with his help and me working alongside him making this possible, we have merchandise, and a lot of it. Oh, a lot of it. Yes.
I appreciate it, David. Thank you.
Yeah, Nate is like my brother, and this guy, I'm like blessed to have him here on the channel. And it literally all started on, let's go to the video. It started off of one tropical video. I think it was this one 10 days ago. I believe it was 10 days ago. Oh, darn it. Which video was it? Oh, maybe it was this one.
Okay.
Yep, it was this one. So 9 days ago. Hey David, I joined a live stream a while ago. Let me make sure this is, there we go. Everyone can see it now. A while ago from Tallahassee. I hope you highlight this for people to see. You deserve some major props for posting these videos daily. You are by far the most honest and most helpful weather channel on YouTube. I look forward to possibly doing some storm coverage with you, and keep these videos up. So it's where we became friends, all thanks to loving YouTube. I love it. It's great. So that tailors into this. So you said you were going storm chasing. So what do you have for us on that? Great old Nate.
Well, I mean, as we've said in our past lives, we're going to be doing some 24-hour storm coverage when there's any sort of impacts to the United States. And if I have the chance, I would like to get out into that storm to report from inside the storm live to you guys, so you guys know whether, if maybe your area is more impacted than some other areas. You guys know if, maybe the cell service went down, so my neighbors won't text me or be able to call me. but but the impacts are low in that area, and that's honestly my whole entire goal is to put you guys at ease while I'm out there, and I honestly love chasing storms, so it's kind of a win-win for everybody. I get to keep you guys at ease, and then I get to chase the storm and have fun.
And also, he's going to try to get into the eye of the hurricane, depending on how strong it is, of course. And everybody likes to see that cool stadium effect. So you're only going to find that here on the channel when he's out there going chasing. But he has to go through the worst part of all is the eye wall. And that's very dangerous. So, of course, it's going to be great. It really is. The elephant in the room. Yes. GFS, you're doing it again. How about GFS, you shut your mouth? Please, GFS. Oh my gosh. Watch everyone post this. All right. And every night, me and Nate have this conversation. Like Nate, like look at the GFS. It's showing that hurricane in the Gulf. You watch people on X posting this again. Like it's no tomorrow. Like literally.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely see a lot of posts tomorrow about this.
Maybe from Johnny T West over here. He's been helping out with the hype squad over here. Hey, David, you might have a sale here soon. Oh, sweet. Yeah, keep an eye on that sale board over there, Nate. So yeah, if you want to get some merch, sweatshirts, shirts, and other cool stuff, yeah, check out our merchandise. And I will be promoting that at the end of my videos. So, yeah. All right, let's see what we got. GFS, still not much intensification. That's a 110 mile an hour hurricane, though. That is pretty dang strong. Okay. Not again. It's going right where we don't want it to go. Anything else in the Atlantic? Let's go all the way out. Quite frankly, no. The GFS is onto its normal rivalry party. However, there is a system right here, but honestly, just because there's not as much action on this model, like there was on this run and like there was on, well, there was not much on that run, doesn't mean that the tropics are going to get quiet. Remember, each run is unique. Actually, we might see something try to consolidate right here. There's a wind max, so there is some vorticity on that, headed towards the northern Caribbean. Looks like it's going to head towards Texas, Louisiana. Well, I think we all know that by now, right? Did this even update? It did update, didn't it? Yes, it did. Wind gust forecast 115 miles per hour. Pressures, let's look at the pressures. Yep, 949. Wow. Okay, here we go. Fantasy time. That was very compact. Yeah, I know, it is very compact. And sadly, this is like a Laura, like a Hurricane Laura situation. I don't want to start going into the deep end and start speculating, but it has that track like Laura did. It really does. I am not concerned about this. I will be honest and forward with you guys. I'm looking at this and be like, Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I will tell you what. You can bet me $1 billion, and I'll tell you the same thing. It's not going to happen. I like looking at this stuff while we're waiting for the euro. We're waiting for the artificial intelligence to come in, then the euro, and then we'll close it down for the night. Once we get our two contestants up for grabs, we're just waiting for our AI to wake up. It has not woken up yet. Actually, I'm going to see if it's active on Tropical Tidbits. It should be rendering though. It's usually the first one out before the actual operational run starts. So that should be rendering here very soon. You can't say never though. Well, just because of the noise out there and because of what's all going on, I'm going to say it's not going to happen. Just because it's so far out. I mean, come on. This was the 18Z model run, and this is the other model run. Only 2 runs it has it in the Gulf. Like, there's no consistency. There isn't. It's not a forecast. It isn't a forecast. Thank you for that, Nate. Yeah, tell them. You go tell them. Want to see the AI? Well, I'm waiting for the AI. Everybody's waiting for the AI, but it's not working. It's not rendering. And it should render very fast once it gets going. Have fun with your little hurricane over there, GFS. Because it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Come on. We have like few more frames to load in here. Come on, GFS. Render, get the heck done with all this forecast. Thank you so much. I'm glad I'm the best. I'll tell you, great mods tonight in this stream. Great mods, especially Nate and PM over here. Yeah, I love the GFS days when they like literally splash down some big time storms. Until it actually happens and it's not so pretty. Now, this is a major hurricane, category 3 in the Gulf. Yeah, like, all right, GFS. Okay, GFS. I'll talk to you tomorrow at 12Z in the morning, and I better, or 06Z tonight, and I better see that you fixed your freaking behavior. And that thing is just, look at it. I mean, what a wonky model run. Jeez. It's like a boomerang, like a little hurricane over here. I mean, come on, look at this. Don't tell me. Look. Okay, we got a system moving literally towards Africa. Like, hello, wake up. Wake up, GFS. We got another little wave right here rapidly developing. Is this another one of those cocky type models? We got 1, 2, 3, 4 disturbances again. Let's see how many we had on the last run. We had 1. Yeah, we had 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so just as many. Wow. Man. So basically what this is telling me is we got to watch. We got to pay close attention to the tropics. Like the images that you're seeing right here on the GFS literally tells me that we watch the tropics, we watch these tropical waves, strong signal or a low to medium to large signal, lots of disagreement. I'm not focused on one single storm, as you all know. I'm looking at signals. Say it with me, folks. Say it in the chat. I'm looking at... Finish the sentence. I'm looking at blank. Nate already knows. So let's see if you guys... What's going on? What's up? Felix a cat, how are you doing? Yeah, this is 2020 hype stuff. Yeah, but fortunately it's far out and I don't believe it at all. Signals, yes, signals. I am taking this with a grain of salt. I really am. And that's why because of what's transpiring over the last 4 or 5 days, I'm not going beyond 8 days out in my forecast. Unless there is very good confidence, like good enough confidence at 7 days that, oh, okay, if there's really high confidence here, we'll stretch it a few more days to day 10. But because there is a system right over here, there's a system there, it's just like it's just noise. It's like hearing white noise out of your TV.
Hey, David, the Euro AI has come out.
Oh, shit. Don't tell me. Do not spoil it. I swear. Oh, it's just rendering. It's just rendering. So we got the AI. AI hypos. Oh, wow. It actually came out first on Tropical Tidbits before Weather Bell. All right. We love you, Tropical Tidbits. Go give Dr. Levi Cowan a huge shout out, you all. Yes, this is out. And oh, I don't want to look at this. Tell me how it looks in chat, you guys. Tell me how it looks in chat. I am actually a little anxious. Don't tell me, Nate. Don't tell me, Nate. Let the chat answer. How does it look? Not good? So you spelled N-O-T space G-O-D-D. All right. That makes sense. Looks bad. Looks very wonky. Oh, shoot. Very bad. Oh, man. Okay. I'll be brave and let's look at it together. Yeah. Okay. All right, AI. All right, AI. Dude, it's in the same spot. Am I seeing that right? Is that in the same spot? Is that literally in the same spot? No, that is not in the same spot. Wow, that is downright consistent. That is very consistent. That far out. As consistent as it is, I am still not trusting it. I am still not trusting it. Man, it does have a hurricane. It has a hurricane on the 18th of August. 288 hours out. I don't know. I am not. It is. I don't really trust this. I don't trust the AI still. Other models, unless the Euro. Now, if the Euro latches onto this and is like, whoa, we're going to have a major hurricane then, and the GFS is showing it right, then we should start getting a little worried over here. But I am not concerned. But man, dude, is that consistent? Wow. Is that ever? Man, it's been having something there for a while. Let's go back. How many model runs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 17 model runs. 17 model runs. Look at that. It's just, wow. Talk about consistency on that. Man, we're going to need to watch this. We really are. I am not jumping the gun, but even so, the GFS is playing sleepyhead over here and not, it's showing something, but very small. See, the GFS has it more all over the place, but that AI doesn't. Oh, whoa. Okay. So that is, so the Canadian model now, by the way, Nate has a tropical system, a closed low in the northeastern Caribbean. The GFS has something there too. So that's 2 model runs in agreement. Only the icon, well, the icon doesn't go out that far. But that AI model, man, if this keeps up for another few days or another 4 or 5 days, at least another 4 days, then I'm going to start raising the alarm bell. If it remains that consistent on the AI model, then I'm going to start getting a little more concerned. Now, I want to make it clear with all of you that are watching this. Now, just because that the AI model, what is that, 969? That's 969. So here's a little secret about the AI model, all right? It's not good on strength as much as it is on track. All right, so it's not really used for strength. So do not take the strength into account like, oh, it's only a tropical storm, David. It's only having tropical storm force winds. Well, I'm looking more at signals. That's our key word tonight is signals. So I'm going to look at this and be like, okay, there's a storm. All right, I'm going to look back at several model runs. All right, there's a storm. There's something there. I'm not going to be specific at saying, oh, it's a hurricane or it's a tropical storm, because this is not a high resolution model. Okay, it's not your GFS. It's not your European deterministic model. This is an artificial intelligence model. What's up, Vince? What's up? So signals beat any intensity. Okay, so I'm looking at this and Nate agrees with me, right? So Nate, what does this tell you? Like when you look at this and seeing the consistency, what is this telling you as a forecast trainer over here? Training you.
Well, honestly, all that it tells me is maybe to bump my chances from a 0.1% to maybe a 1 or 2%. It really doesn't change much, and obviously where it's positioned just simply does not matter. It just, there's potential out there pretty much. It just means there's some sort of potential for something to happen. Even if these guys are showing in the exact same spot, I'm not looking at the spot until at least 5 to 7 days.
Yeah. And that's his way as well as mine. So I'm looking at this. I'm like, okay, it's there. I don't care where it's at right now. I'm not focused on intensity and well, I got my words mixed up. So I'm concerned about where it's at. Of course, let me rephrase that. I don't want to stumble up on my words here. We care where it's at, but how strong it is. And strength doesn't work well with AI models. Also, another wave coming off of Africa. And guess what? Another wave coming off of Africa. So we have, what do we have? The trio of waves that are pumping off of Africa. We might actually have yeah, look at 1, 2, 1 fizzles out, 3, and 4. And let's see how consistent this one even is right here. God, no. That AI model, I'm telling you, that AI model really has this next wave down right here. Even. So this is for signals, not so much for intensity. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, just because the GFS shows that out there, it doesn't look like, oh, there's not much more after our wave over here in the Gulf or this up here, right? Because that's only one model. But if we look at our artificial intelligence, you're like, oh, spaghetti-o. It's like we got more coming off of Africa. And I'll tell you what, here's a little secret. Let's take a look at our 500 millibar chart and look at the GFS. Yeah, do you want to know where our tropical waves come off of? Come off of Africa. And look at all of that vorticity right there. And that is how you can somewhat predict whether or not we get development out here in the Eastern MDR. And you can look at your winds too. So you can look at 650 millibar winds and look at the East African jet. Nobody looks at this in their YouTube videos. They actually don't. They actually don't. I'll take the blame for it. I don't even either, unless it's a really high cause of a system. But yeah, this is what we look for. We watch our waves propagate all the way out over here. And speaking of that, let's see what our MJO is looking like. Darn it. Oh, well, we can get kind of a highlight. Still a very amplified MJO signal. Very amplified. Look at this. This is crazy. Again, please do not take the sinking motion to heart, to granite, okay? We learned about this early on in the live stream, okay? Things are delayed. When there's actually sinking in the velocity potential, waves coming off of Africa are actually able to develop because of all this rising motion over here in the Indian Ocean as well as the maritime continent. So this tells me, at least through the period when he would ring his bell and officially say, oh, this is the official first pulse of tropical activity, this takes us into the 20th and the 21st of August. So essentially, let's just put it this way, folks. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think we are going to have a very busy August. Once it gets started, I don't think it's going to stop until perhaps very late August. We may get a brief lull, but because of climatology, yes, climatology will catch up to us, and it really won't matter too much about the MJO. It really won't. So I hate to say it, buckle up tight because it could be a long ride ahead if things go the wrong direction.
Hey, David, so the last hours came out of the GFS, and you should take a look at that. It's quite amusing.
Oh, gosh. I don't like hearing that at all. So let's go over to Weather Bell, shall we? Let's go over right to the Gulf. Oh my gosh, yeah, okay. Holy cow, that's a 150 mile an hour hurricane hitting Houston. I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna puke. Not literally, but yeah. Can someone bring me beer? I need beer, please. Oh, here comes X on fire. People are going to go over the top with this. No. Bad boy GF. A 938 millibar. Like literally a 938 millibar. No. Nate.
Yeah, I'm
W-
looking at it.
928 millibars. Like,
Yeah, that's not happening. Let's. I really can't wait to see the Twitter posts tomorrow. This is gonna be funny.
sorry, I'm laughing. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm laughing at this. I know this is a hurricane on a model, but like GFS still. That's a category 5. That's definitely a category 5 right there. Even so, the GFS does not explicitly show that, but you know, the GFS is not a hurricane model specifically, so you can kind of blend in a 158 in there. So, life lesson learned, everybody, that there is a 0 to maybe a 0.1% chance that this is going to verify. I'm telling you right now. Don't worry about it. Do not worry about it. What did I just say? What did I just say, people? Did I lose you? If I did, I'm sorry. Sorry, I got some commentary going on tonight. Yeah, like, I hate to say it. I mean, people on X are going to be like, oh, there's always a chance because it's there. Yeah, all right. I want to see you back here in 10 days and ask me the same question. All right. The GFS goes berserk. Okay. It goes berserk because it takes one little bit of convection and it's like, whoa, look at all that convection. And it just wants to go. It just wants to go crazy. It's like playing with Legos. It wants to get a set of blocks, build a tower, and it's like, oh, I really like this tower, so let's make it really big. I am not trusting the GFS at all. Okay, but I'll tell you, I will trust it. Well, I essentially don't trust it at all, period. Okay, until we get that tropical wave. Where is that tropical wave, you guys might be asking? It's out there in the central main, well, semi-main, but like in the central African continent. It's right here. Does that remain robust when it gets over here? If we actually see Genesis, all right, then it's time to get the bell ringing and be like, all right, folks, let's get prepared. Make sure you have a hurricane plan in place. But I'm not worried. I am not worried about it at all. But of course, people out there are going to be like, oh, I'm worried. I'm worried. I'm sorry you feel that way, but we got science in our heads about these models. Okay, so that's that. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh, for my beer. All right, let me get some beer. Okay. I'm drunk. No, I'm not drunk. All right, so come on, Slowpoke Euro. Oh, here it is. Euro's rendering. Interesting. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. So we got a little concerning evolution over here. I don't like saying concerning very much, but I'm gonna kind of sneak it all in here. Look at the central Atlantic. We have a speed max right here. That's a pretty good looking tropical wave. Remember, when we have easterly winds right here, no winds down here, that actually creates relative vorticity. So if you think about your hand, so I'm going to do a little demonstration. All right. So if I can do this, right? So if you think about it, let me see if I can actually do it. So here's my hand down here is moving slower than the air above it. So you're actually going to get cyclonic vorticity that actually develops with these waves. So you can see lesser wind up here, 20 knot winds up here to the north. There's vorticity for you. I know it doesn't look like, but there's no circulation, David. Yeah, well, we look at our 850 millibar. Yep, there she is. There she is on the map. There she is. Ensembles, please. I don't know if the Euro APHIS is out on ensembles. Nope, not yet. GEFS ensembles. They are halfway done. Honestly, I don't trust the GEFS ensemble. Not that I want the Euro most about that, but there's not as many members that run the ensemble of the GFS. It's like 20 or something members versus 51 that run the Euro. So that's why I like the Euro a little bit more in terms of ensemble forecast. And I just don't think the GEFS ensemble does as good of a job. I mean, yeah, see this? In 10 days, it wants a lot of Genesis over here with that next wave coming off of Africa. But see, look at the last run. There was nothing. There's like, it doesn't know. It really doesn't. I'm not trying to be biased, but like, I'm going to look over the Euro first because a lot of people that I know that are professions in this, they will use the European ensemble over the GEFS ensemble. So, I mean, the GEFS is just like, there's consolidation over here, but there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 members. I mean, that's not a whole lot when you think about that. So that's why I'm more deeply interested in the Euro ensemble, but I'm not waiting until like 1 in the morning for that. That's going to be too late for me, and I need to get some sleep tonight. I'm just going to wait for these to come out, and then once this is fully done, I'll get to some questions that you guys might have, and maybe do one last promo of the store. But we want to finish this because this is very entertaining, I shall say. And the Lesser Antilles, that is definitely a low. So we have a problem. Nate?
What's our problem here, David?
The Euro and the GFS. Well, the GFS is slower with it. It arrives a little later, but it's in the same spot. So let me actually circle this in. So the GFS right here. I'm going to put GFS, and then the Euro. Let's look at the Euro. Right in the same spot. Look at that. Right in the same spot with that area. So you got your Euro just a hair to the north. ECMWF. So we got 2 models. Let's see what about the Canadian model. Okay, good. The Canadian model.
Hey, David, I think if you should, you should draw a line of the path on the GFS on where it takes on the GFS so we can just compare it real fast.
Yeah, I'll look at that really quickly here. So then the Canadian model, it's hard to draw all these circles, circle over circle, but the CMC is down over here. So yeah, there's a close group here somewhere in this area. So not that the GFS is right, but the signal there seems to be a signal in tonight's 0Z run that has something over here in about 8 or 9 days. In about 8 or 9 days, plus or minus a day or two. Yeah, this is 204 hours, so this is 8.5 days. 8.5 days. So it's not 10 days out. It's within the 10-day limit. And that is 37-mile-an-hour winds right there. So that is a pretty strong tropical wave. Actually, it might even be closed here almost. Yep, it is closed. So this would be a tropical depression here on approach to perhaps Puerto Rico. So let's actually go back as what he wants me to do here is look at the track. But it's going to be hard to animate this just because I will tell you right now, let's wait until this is completely done first before we jump to conclusions. There's another wave that the Euro is picking up on. There's another wave right there. And there's another wave behind it. Wow. That is a lot of upper level energy. Look at all that upper level energy with these waves. Yes. Very much so. Very much so. Quite broad though. All right, we're getting consolidation on the Euro already just to the north of Hispaniola. Just to the north of Hispaniola. Or actually, it's right over that area. Man, that is producing tropical storm force winds. So that is a strengthening system right there in 10 days. So what we do know is the GFS over here is a little slower, but again, it's still there. The Canadian model is over here a little faster with our system. And then the Euro is up over here, even a little faster. And it's over the Dominican Republic, Haiti area. So what is important here is there is a signal that is in place here in the 8 to 10 day time frame in the Northeastern Caribbean. Let's take a look here at our artificial intelligence. And yeah, it's right where our GFS kind of is. It's a little slower, but still a signal. Now, of course, again, not a high-res model, so don't expect to see a tropical storm out of this, but it does have something. Track is important. So we have 4 out of, well, we'll see about the icon when it comes closer in because it's only a 180-hour out model. But tonight's package, 0Z forecast has, the GFS has it, the Canadian has it, the European model actually has it too. So that's what we are looking at right now as far as a signal. All right. Wow. What is the Euro doing here now? Man, it is completely the opposite. It shows a system right here producing 50-mile-an-hour winds. So this would be a stronger tropical storm. So we will see where the Euro has this. Wave train incoming. Yes. Yes, for sure. Looks like this wave might fail to develop, but there's a wave here, a wave here. Looks like another one right here. Again, positioning-wise, I'm not looking at positioning right now. I'm looking at signals. So right here, wave, 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 right in there. So that is a very, very busy-looking Atlantic all throughout in here. Wave train, definitely a thing. But then we have to look at our upper-level winds, our vorticity for that energy. Oh, wow. Hold on a second. Okay, so that's an upper level low. Okay, I thought that was like actually drilled down to the surface. So yeah, you can see it here, here, and here. And then there's another one back in here that I just actually realized. Let's go to Africa really quickly. Yup, there it is. There's another one. There's another one. And it looks like here's another weak one forming. Man, they're just lined up out there. See, when you're able to see this over Africa at the 500 millibar level, then you know this means business. This really does. Looks like that wave though is gonna come off a little. Oh no, that's about average when it comes to yeah, it looks average. Let's see our velocity potential anomaly. Oh gosh, yeah. Oh wow, yeah. This is not good at all. Yeah, look at this matches. Look at this. Nate.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. I've been seeing it.
So we
I was
have
actually about to mention it to you.
yeah, so we have a consistent signal now on the Euro. That enhanced phase of the MJO is in India. Previous runs were not as strong on that. But this run is a little bit more robust with it. And the GFS, of course, is very robust. So we have a coherent signal between these two models that the MJO is going to be pretty dang active in the Indian Ocean, where our tropical waves originate from. So that is a signal. See how you're getting about this, people? When you're watching this, is it's not about it's not about strength, it's about signals. And that's what we have. So yeah, see, here's another one, here's another one. It looks like another one is forming up. Man, this is just insane wave training right now. Off of Africa, let's look at our dew point. Yeah, that's in a very moist environment, not very dry at all. Now, of course, I'm not here to cause panic or anything. We're looking at signals. This is where your waves get started. They get started over here, and you can actually watch these and make predictions that, okay, well, can't make them this far out, but this gives us a signal that, oh, looks like our Cape Verde season is going to be Harley Davidson hot over here. It's going to be spicy. We're going to have waves percolating. Actually, we have a wave right here even. Man, this whole area, you can actually see it at 500 millibars. That is a very active wave train in place here over Africa at a little over 10 days out. Yeah, that's a very strong MJO. So we look at signals. At this point, we don't look at the Atlantic for, oh, what comes out behind that. It looks like this area right here spins away. But let's see at 850 millibars. Yeah, see, that spins away. But of course, that's 300 hours out. A lot can change in 300 hours. So I'm not looking at one individual model and going to hypothesize. All right, let's go back into the Caribbean and let's see what we have here. There you go, man. You know, is it? This is like the GFS 18Z run. This is like the 18Z GFS. Almost similar. Almost similar. Wow. Dang, dude. Wow, that gets going really quickly, and that looks like it could hit Bermuda, but again, very far out. This really moves slowly over here. That is 60-mile-an-hour winds. Wow, the GFS isn't lying. That's not lying. Where is that? This is in the Gulf. Entering the Gulf, perhaps the Yucatan Channel, Western Cuba. This is almost done rendering. I'm a little shocked by this tonight. Zero Z family coming in a little spicy tonight. Little spicy. Up, yep, there's another wave right here. Yep, there it is. So 1, 2, and wow, look at, I just made a mouth, like a mouth with 2 eyes. Look at that. You could actually see there's one eye, there's another eye, and then there is its mouth. If you follow the wind right there, kind of, I guess. Make the, you only need a nose. It looks like this could be the nose right in here. Kind of. Yeah, but again, just because I see this doesn't mean my chances of development are increasing in the Caribbean. I am going to wait for more model runs. I'll tell you. I'll be straightforward with you guys over here. I will hype when it needs to be hyped. I will tell you. Yep, we got an 80-mile-an-hour hurricane. 80-mile-an-hour hurricane entering the Gulf. Man, dude. And this looks like it's going to hit Texas, too. Well, it's only going out to 360 hours. We're not going to speculate, but the direction that it's moving, pretty much like this. Yeah. So, to go over this, honestly, my thoughts are, let's keep watching. I am not concerned at all. All right. But I'll tell you, it's going to be all over X. I'm not going to post anything because I'm going to wait for more data. But you watch, the people out there on X are going to be posting about this like, oh, there's an agreement with our Euro, GFS, and Canadian models. Yeah, just because 3 agree now doesn't mean they consistently agree in the next cycle. So we're doing this right now. There's a lot of waves. There's a lot of unstableness to our predictability here with our tropical waves right now, or tropical systems, because how does that intertropical convergence zone behave? Things have to kind of break away off the vine and sprout. And when that happens is a question. But am I concerned? Not really. I'm not concerned at all. Am I watching this? Oh, absolutely. I'm watching this. Especially that I'm getting close to 50,000 subscribers. I am going to keep the tone low. And I will be talking to my friend Nate after the stream here briefly and asking him about thumbnail designing and stuff, because I do not want to cause panic. That's not what I'm here for, because some of you think that I intentionally do it, and I'm not intentionally doing it at all. I just like the style. My thumbnails are just great looking. They're, you know, beveled edges, just looks good. The waters are very hot in the Gulf. Yes, they are. Yeah, we're at 70, about 80 miles an hour. All right, that concludes the European model for tonight. So what did we learn from this? What did we all learn? The people in the chat, what did you guys learn from the models tonight? See if you guys have your little lesson over here. I want to teach you guys. I don't want to just tell you, I want to teach you too. We have learned really well that these models are so lost. Yeah. And there's a lot of predictability issues right now, because where's our tropical wave right now? Let me ask you that question. Where is our tropical wave right now? Is it over the Atlantic, the second wave, or is it over Africa? We've learned signals. Good job. Good job. We've learned those signals, those convective feedback signals. Ensembles, please. Okay. While we're waiting for that, the ensembles, I mean, look at how far in we are with the ensembles. And the ensembles are going to take some time. I don't know how long this is going to take to render. But I'll tell you, on Weather Nerds, it is not out until like 12:30 at night. The models are so robust. Exactly. And it's over Africa. Exactly. The tropical wave is over here. It's over land. It's not even over the Atlantic right now. So models are going to go back and forth until they see that, oh, okay, there's a tropical wave. All right, there's the little area of low pressure. Okay, then let's simulate on what it will do with as the wave moves further to the west. So until the wave comes off of Africa, which will be in a couple of days, expect this back and forth, a windshield wiper effect. All right. It is a bit better that we have at least a little bit more agreement in tonight's 0Z run that 3 models are actually, 4 models are actually telling us that, oh, all right, the wave will be right there. Some timing differences, but we are still going to have to watch this. And I know a lot of you are, most of you, I'm sure, the ones that are very close to me have been watching and following me on YouTube about this. But again, other people out there have not been following me as closely. So invite your friends and family to watch my next video tomorrow on the tropics. I won't be able to go live tomorrow because I have church, of course. And then on Friday, I'm going to a Stockton Ports game. It's a baseball game. So I will also not be able to go live then. But Saturday night, I will be live here if needed. Yeah, Nate, you learned signals. I've already taught you that a long time ago, but you learned even more. So power in numbers. The more models stay consistent between the GFS, the Euro, the Canadian, the APHIS model, and the Icon, then we can actually be like, oh, all right, this is where it's going to be based on all of our group of models. And I know some of you are wanting that ensemble forecast, but this is going to take too long. It really is. Let's get to questions though. We're definitely going to have to watch this. Absolutely. And also I didn't really mention the wave down here in the Caribbean, which, by the way, the Euro, I didn't even notice that on the Euro. If I didn't even notice it on the Euro, that means it's really not a big deal. Let's see. Yeah, see, the Euro is not as enthused about that right now. So it is more enthused, though. There is a trade wind enhancement, but I do not see a tropical anything significant. So that wave moving over the southeastern Caribbean still needs to kind of be monitored, but I'm not too concerned about it right now at the very moment. At least for right now. But I am watching what goes on around the 12th of August and beyond. That's kind of the benchmark. With that high ridge, oh my gosh, Nate. With that high ridge and strong sea surface temperatures affects spinning storms. Oh, you're articulating Weatherman Plus over here. I'll tell you though, I want to not be biased. Weatherman Plus is great. His commentary makes me laugh. It really does. His commentary. That's why I watch him. Just for a little bit, you know. All right. So I think we covered everything. I didn't even bring up my, oh yeah, I did bring up my climatology. I wanted to show you all this really fast. So don't leave, don't leave. We're here, by the way. We are here. Yeah, look where we still have to go. Would you look at that? We still have a ways to go until the peak of hurricane season. I mean, we are still over a month, away from the peak of hurricane season. And I'm just telling you, it's going to be busy. I think August this year is going to give us some surprises. I really think. I just took a look at X and it's all over the place. Oh my. There you go. There you go. Let's see if is it actually over X? Yeah, Storm Chaser John. See if other people actually yeah, no one really on X has talked about it yet. No, not yet, but they will in the morning. You watch. We'll probably do it in the morning. Only one person, that's Johnny, that that made a post on it. Man, I really feel bad here. Oh, seeing that Gizmo, the Storm Chaser dog. Yeah, but I don't see anything at all on. Yeah, nothing at all on X about it. By the way, if you guys want to follow me on X, you guys can go ahead and do so. I'm right here. As you guys know, this was the last image, my last post, and it still can be verified with all of the rising motion that we have. I've never posted this much on X, to be honest. I mean, I have done a lot. I've done a lot of posting, so yeah, you can find me there. If I'm not live or doing YouTube, especially in the morning, you can find me there as well. What? Trending. I didn't even see that. I don't even see the trending. Maybe it was. But yeah. Yeah. But I love you guys. I'm like so blessed you guys are here. I followed you, brother. You got to follow. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Everyone buy merch.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget about the merchandise as well. We have merchandise on the YouTube channel. So when you go check out the homepage, just navigate over to where it says store. Click on store, and that's where you can click on, oh, I want that shirt. And then that's where you fulfill your payment stuff and select your size, what size you want. And then, yeah, you can buy it there. Yeah. So that's because we're getting to 50,000 subs over here. 50,000. We're less than 1,000 away from that. So I want to say thank you guys for supporting me thus far, even during this very difficult model shenanigans time where models are just drunk as heck. But that's why you can follow me on X to keep up on everything here. All right. It's Weather United at Weather United 1. So again, here it is really quick. At Weather United 1. That's, oops, I put it an at sign, so it's at, then Weather United 1. Yeah, for the merch. Yeah, so, and we have a sale going on, by the way, 15% off through next week on Wednesday, I believe it is, right? right?
Yes, Wednesday is correct, David.
So yeah, you can get it 15% off now. You order it today through Wednesday next week. Wait, you're live? Yes, I'm live, but I'm about to end it here. Just answering your guys' questions about anything here. If it's about MJO stuff, I'll be happy to answer your guys' questions on that. Oh. Now, if we wait long enough, actually, let's look at the ensemble here. At 96 hours out. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I'm glad I provide all the information that I can. Wave heights. Yeah, wave heights are going to depend on how strong the system is. Let's see if we do have that. Where's our wave? Did they take it away? Or wait. Oh, no, they didn't. There it is. Wave heights. Oh, it did come out. Let's see. Yeah, there's your wave heights in the Gulf. Pretty stinking high. That's like 30 feet high. Maximum individual wave height is 57 feet. I would bet you the GFS, though. Let's go to the GFS Wave Watch 3. Oh, it doesn't even go out to as far as the GFS shows. But it does show some big time waves, though. Look at that. That's almost 40 feet. 40 feet. I bet we get 0 storms after Aaron in August. Yeah, okay. All right. I think we will get at least 15 named storms this year. Maybe, I would say at least 13 or 14. I'm waiting until what mid-August brings, and after mid-August, I'll make my judgment on how the season I think will play out. What's up for the 2 a.m. update? Oh, yeah. Let's see. Let's take a look at the 2 a.m. update. Of course, we have 2 systems over here really quickly. Yep, nothing new out here in the 2 o'clock update from the NHC, keeping it at 60% out there with our MDR storm, and then 030 here. Dexter still hanging tight at around 50 miles per hour. Be one heck of a powerful extratropical cyclone, that's for sure. So, yeah. But yeah, water temperatures in the Gulf right now, I'm telling you, I don't like causing panic at all. I'm not here to do that, but boy, if we see a big system, if we see a disturbance, even if it's tropical storm here on entry to the Gulf, you better have your plan in place, because these waters right here are absolutely stupendously warm right now. I mean, we're in the 90s in some areas. That is not good. Not good at all. I know a lot of people like going to the beach and thinking, this is nice and warm. But you realize that's just energy waiting. In fact, this is the latest. I'm actually surprised. Yeah, see, it's 90 along the coast here. Look at that. 90 degrees along the Floridian coast. Wow, this is really warm, though. Let's see how warm the Caribbean is. Yeah, we're at about 84, 85 degrees. So it's more than suitable to support violent, intense hurricanes. In fact, the Gulf is actually warmer. Think about it this way. It's almost as warm as the Red Sea. Somewhere the Red Sea is over here. Parts of the Red Sea are very warm. So think about it that way. Like, wow, the Gulf is that warm? That's ridiculous. Ivo looks good now in the Eastern Pacific. Did I see what the National Hurricane Center is saying really quick? Ivo. Cute little Ivo over here. Yeah, Ivo's 40 miles an hour. Oh, this is going to be a hurricane now. Wow, looks like we will get another hurricane out there. 2 hurricanes in the Eastern and Central Pacific. The last bit of any development out there, by the way. Then it all comes down to where, fortunately, a lot of people live in harm's way with these tropical waves. All right, let's see really quickly what our let's see what our AI is showing since I just spoke it out too soon. Let's go look. And there are members picking that up for sure. There are more members picking this up. It's a matter of will the deterministic or the European ensemble pick it up. Let's see. This is the ensemble. That's weird. It's not many members. Yeah, lesser members on this. So there has been a downtrending signal a little bit on the European ensemble. Huh. Interesting. All right. I think I'm going to close it off for the night. Because it's late. As always, I do appreciate you guys coming down tonight to watching me live here. Great. It was great watching the 0Z models coming in live as we looked at them, looking at the MJO, and long story short, it looks to be busy in the Atlantic through the end of August, possibly through early September, because of that MJO, that Madden-Julian oscillation. The background state looks like it's going to be favorable. The next stream possibly scheduled for Saturday. I'll have to see on how my day looks for Saturday. I think I have someone coming over to work on a 1968 Volkswagen Beetle. So gotta get that worked on a little bit because I'll be one of those people out there that drive that nice, good looking antique car. So Saturday's up in the air. Probably going to be Saturday evening though when I go live. But I will have a video out early on in the day on Saturday. In fact, pretty much every day I will have a video out here for as long as it's needed. All right. As always, have a great night, folks. Please, please subscribe to the channel. If you haven't been here before, you find these tropical weather updates, live streams, very detailed, helpful, informative, and life-saving. We are very close to 50,000. I'm being honest with you guys. Like, we are at 49,000 subscribers. So if you have not subscribed yet, we are not far. We are not far at all. All right. But anyways, I'm signing off for the night, and I'll be back with you more tomorrow with another video. Peace out, folks.
See ya, guys.